ever hit me up unless you have a $20 million deal for me, okay, Oscar? Don't ever call me if you don't have a $20 million fight. You understand? Get off my Oscar. Don't call me unless you got that $20 million deal. Oscar De La Hoya just called me.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. So first video actually in a few days. Took a few days off of YouTube. Actually managed to get myself down to the Kenneth Sims against Oscar Duarte fight. It was a Golden Boy show in Chicago. So went to that fight, really enjoyed it. Pretty much watched most of the card. I think I got there about 6:30, 7 p.m. I think the main event started at like 10-ish, 10 p.m. So that was really great. That's actually, two fights in a few weeks now that I've gone to. Obviously I went to Manny Pacquiao against Mario Barrios in Vegas. And then this fight in Chicago. So yeah, it was really fun. The main event was good. Oscar Duarte against Kenneth Sims, really 50-50 fight. Some people actually felt Kenneth Sims could have got the nod, but good fight. Regis Prograis against Jojo Diaz was, fight of the year contender. And yeah, some other good fights on the card as well. So it was very, very nice to go and do that. Always nice to, have a little break from things. Since I've been back, I think the latest news, I've seen a video of Ryan Garcia actually, calling out Oscar De La Hoya and again, being quite rude and disrespectful. And for me, Ryan Garcia is just all over the place. I'm not sure about you guys, but actually when I see Ryan Garcia, I actually don't even look at him as like one of the top guys. I don't look at him, the same way I would look at, even a, Shakur Stevenson or any of these other top fighters. I don't really see Ryan Garcia as that. I think Ryan Garcia, to me, he's not far away from being put in the Jake Paul category. I think he's a big name. I think he's someone that, had talent. He worked with Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. And, Canelo Alvarez admitted it. Ryan Garcia does have a lot of talent. I think in terms of his talent, you're looking at, he's got fast hands. So he's got speed and he's got power. Especially in that left hand. Other than that, Ryan Garcia is not great. I'm sorry. His fundamentals have always been poor. And when you're looking at a guy like Ryan Garcia, I think if he went to Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso's camp, minus, a lot of the fact that a lot of those guys are testing positive, which I don't agree with. But I think he actually, would have learned from Canelo Alvarez in terms of, his professionalism, staying in the gym, and really just improving and getting better. And Ryan Garcia has just not made really any adjustments. He's always had speed, he's always had power, but his fundamentals have always been poor. His defense is poor, he always goes back in straight lines. And you saw that against Rolando Romero. Obviously got knocked out by Gervonta Davis, but there's no shaming that. Gervonta Davis is a great fighter. But I think that Rolando Romero performance was just awful. And again, with Ryan Garcia, he kind of did it after the first fight with Gervonta Davis. He's looking at Oscar De La Hoya and blaming him. Saying that Oscar De La Hoya never liked him, never thought he was a great fighter. To be honest with you, Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia, maybe they looked a little bit similar in terms of appearance when they were both young. But Ryan Garcia is absolutely nowhere near as good as Oscar De La Hoya was. He's not even close. So Oscar De La Hoya, he was a former fighter. He was a legend. He knows how to build fighters. And he's looking at Ryan Garcia and probably, giving Ryan Garcia, which actually happens with a lot of this newer generation. He's probably giving Ryan Garcia advice and telling him not to, try not to be around this person and, take your career seriously and maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And again, I think Oscar De La Hoya really could have been a great role model because Oscar De La Hoya, he was not perfect. He got involved in some things as well. Unfortunately had some, issues with, drugs, alcohol and things like that. Obviously had a lot of influences around him. Oscar De La Hoya was massive. So, I think he could have actually been the perfect maybe role model for Ryan Garcia. But it just seems to me like Ryan Garcia probably has the wrong people around him. He doesn't look like he's someone that likes to listen or learn. And if he wants to put all of the blame on Oscar De La Hoya and call him out and find a new promoter, then that's really not going to change that much. In my opinion, what's it going to change if, Ryan Garcia goes to Eddie Hearn? What's it going to change if Ryan Garcia goes to Top Rank, which he wouldn't do because Top Rank, doesn't even have an ESPN deal anymore. So yeah, I don't really think, I think promoters out there, there's always going to be interest in Ryan Garcia because he is a big name. He does sell tickets, but I really don't want people to confuse that with the boxing ability. Again, I think this is a guy that's got talent, but I think his head is all over the place. I actually said in a previous video in reference to Gervonta Davis, boxing is one of those sports you need to be 100% in or you're out. It's not something you can do 50-50. I think outside of the ring, when he's not boxing, Ryan Garcia, I'm not sure he keeps himself in great shape. Looks like he drinks a lot, balloons up in weight. So again, these are not really the behaviors of a dedicated athlete. I can't see Ryan Garcia really ever winning a world title, to be honest with you. I think he will, have big fights because he's a big name and draws that attention. But look, he may not even be in boxing for much longer. He's not someone that, to me, looks like he's really fighting for legacy. I don't see someone that, in the loss to Gervonta Davis, he didn't really have that do or die attitude when he got hurt. Against Rolando Romero, he got dropped, and did he ever really go for it after that? He was very, very cautious. So again, I think Ryan Garcia has got a lot to learn. I think he's in a very difficult situation because I think as big a name as he is, I don't think he's that great, to be honest with you. So yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, look, he could turn it around. He's still young. But again, this is someone, in my opinion, that's got a lot to learn. And picking fights with Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, that's really not going to do you any favors. So those are my thoughts. Always interested, in what you guys have got to say or what you guys think. So definitely let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.